So, it has finally ended for Camilla, the woman who crept from the shadows into the dazzling lights of the palace, only to now be consumed by that very same light. For decades, she was seen as the ultimate victor of the most scandalous love triangle in royal history. From mistress in secrecy, to queen consort at the king's side. But today, everything she built through cunning and endurance seems to be collapsing before her very eyes. And at the center of it all, Prince William, Diana's eldest son. The one man who carried the pain of his mother's betrayal for decades. He chose this moment, decisive, merciless, to expose Camilla's darkest truth. A truth that didn't just wound Charles. It ripped open an old scar in the heart of the nation. Because to the public, Diana was never just a princess. She was the embodiment of love, honesty, and compassion. And now, with William's revelation, it feels like Diana's ghost is back, standing tall against the woman who once replaced her. But what was inside that dossier that broke Charles beyond repair? The morning sun rose over Buckingham Palace. But behind the thick stone walls, Charles sat in silence, his frail hands trembling as he turned the pages of a thick file delivered in the dead of night. Each sheet carried words sharper than steel. At the bottom of every document, a forged signature. Camilla's, written with a clumsy but deliberate hand. The proof was undeniable. Priceless jewels once belonging to Queen Elizabeth II, the coronation pearls, the ruby necklace that glittered under chandeliers, had been appraised in secret, then sold in auctions overseas. Balmoral's sweeping fields and Windsor's antique treasures, quietly transferred into faceless companies. Each page revealed not just theft, but betrayal. Charles pressed his palm to his heart, whispering her name. His voice cracked like fragile glass. "You've betrayed me. Betrayed my mother. Betrayed the crown." 4 years, Charles had endured ridicule. He had survived mockery, scandal, and whispers that never stopped. But this was different. This wasn't the world attacking him. This was the woman for whom he had sacrificed everything. His image. His peace with his sons. Even his honor. Now, that very sacrifice felt like a chain tightening around his neck. Every jewel, every estate, every artifact wasn't just wealth. They were fragments of memory, promises made to his late mother. Promises now shattered. In the silence, Diana's laughter seemed to echo in his mind. Had he been blind all along? Had his need for love made him ignore the truth hiding behind Camilla's smiles? "Was it ever love, Camilla?" he whispered to the empty room. "Or was I just a step on your path to power?" And yet, on the other side of the palace, Camilla stood before a gilded mirror, draping silk around her shoulders. Her reflection was steady. Her smile rehearsed. To her, the chessboard of power was still under control. Every forged signature. Every hidden transaction. Every quiet arrangement. She believed it was secure. She convinced herself it was, for the monarchy, for stability in uncertain times. But deep down, even Camilla couldn't silence the whisper that it was ambition, not duty, driving her every move. What she didn't know was that the walls were closing in. Because it wasn't just Charles who held the truth. William had seen enough. He had lived with enough. As Diana's son, he carried her memory like a shield. And when the evidence landed in his hands, he chose not to hide it. According to palace insiders, William confronted his father directly, urging Charles to see the betrayal for what it was. Reports claim that it was William's persistence that forced the king to face the documents, and eventually the nation. The exposure was brutal, but it was final. For William, it wasn't just about Camilla. It was about Diana. About ensuring that his mother's honor was no longer buried under the shadows of palace politics. And then came the fallout. The betrayal was not just marital, it was constitutional. If Camilla had truly mishandled jewels, estates, and artifacts tied to the crown, it meant a betrayal of the monarchy itself. Rumors spread like wildfire, whispers of annulments, exile, even the possibility that Charles might distance himself permanently from the woman who had stood at his side for half a century. Royal watchers speculate that public outrage left the king with little choice. Protecting the monarchy now mattered more than protecting his wife. And William, the heir to the throne, had made his stance clear. So now the world asks, has Charles's final decision to leave Camilla become a long-delayed act of revenge for Diana? Or was it simply a desperate move to shield the throne from collapse under William's pressure and the fury of the public? One thing is certain, the roses in Camilla's garden no longer bloom with admiration. They bloom with suspicion. The very legacy she fought for is slipping away. And perhaps, just perhaps, Diana's presence has returned, not in body, but in truth. So what do you think? Is this the end of Charles and Camilla's story? Or just the beginning of the monarchy's darkest chapter yet? Let me know in the comments below, and don't forget to subscribe, because the secrets still hiding behind palace walls are only growing louder.